Kobe Bryant didn't show up to train his body. He showed up to train his mind. The pain is temporary, he'd say. The quit lasts forever. When you understand that physical limits are mental limits in disguise, everything changes. Your workouts become less about aesthetics and more about forging an iron will. This is the warrior mindset that separates champions from everyone else. He studied his weaknesses like textbooks. Instead of accepting limitations, he saw them as problems to solve through relentless effort. His 4 a.m. workouts weren't about basketball. They were about proving to himself that discipline always wins. This mindset applies to you. Every time you push through resistance, you're not just building muscle, you're conditioning your mind to handle more. Results come from who you become in the process. That's how champions are made. The alarm blares at 6 a.m. Your body tenses. The warmth of the bed pulls at you like gravity. This is the moment that defines everything. Not the workout itself, but the decision to begin. Every elite performer knows this battle. It's not about physical ability. It's about who wins the argument in your head before your feet hit the floor. Comfort will always whisper excuses. It tells you to sleep longer, skip just this once, that it doesn't matter. But comfort is the enemy of growth. The cold air stings your skin as you throw off the covers. That discomfort is your first victory. Navy SEALs call these micro wins, small actions that prove you're in control. Making your bed, drinking water first thing, lacing up your shoes when every cell in your body resists. These choices build momentum. They train your mind to act before it feels ready. Neuroscience shows willpower works like a muscle. Use it, and it grows stronger. Avoid hard choices, and it weakens. When you drag yourself out of bed to train, you're not just burning calories. You're programming your nervous system to handle resistance. Each rep, each mile, each cold morning is a signal to your brain. Discomfort is not a threat, it's a tool. This is how you rewire yourself for success, not through motivation, which fades, but through repeated action. Every time you choose the harder path, you prove something to yourself, that you can do what others won't, that you'll show up even when it hurts. Over time, this changes how you see challenges. A difficult work project? You faced worse at dawn. A personal setback? You know how to push through. But showing up is only the foundation. The real transformation happens when you engage in the struggle, when the weights feel heavy, when your lungs burn, when every instinct screams to stop. That's where mental strength is forged. Not in the decision to train, but in the moments during the training when you have to decide. Will you quit, or will you dig deeper? This is the Crucible, the place where excuses melt away and only action remains. The 6 a.m. alarm is just the starting line. What happens next? The sweat, the grind, the refusal to back down is what builds the mindset of a champion. Not overnight, but through hundreds of mornings, where you choose discomfort over comfort, effort over ease. That's how you create a mind that doesn't fold under pressure. A mind trained to endure. The burning in your lungs during sprints isn't suffering. It's your mind being reshaped. Every time you push past the point where your body wants to quit, your brain adapts. This is neuroplasticity in action. Discomfort forces your brain to rewire itself, creating new pathways that build resilience. The more you expose yourself to controlled stress, the better your mind handles unpredictability. Most people run from discomfort. Champions run toward it because they know struggle fuels strength. Kobe Bryant's relentless training wasn't just about basketball. His approach, 6 days a week, 6 hours a day for 6 months straight, was a deliberate assault on his mental limits. He didn't endure the grind to improve his jump shot. He did it to condition his mind to operate under fatigue, stress, and pain. Every drill was a test of will. Every drop of sweat was proof he could outlast doubt. This wasn't practice. It was psychological warfare against his own weaknesses. Pain is no match for a real champion, he'd say. Research shows that leaning into physical discomfort increases pain tolerance in other areas of life by 23%. When you train yourself to hold a squat longer, to run one more lap, to lift when your muscles scream, You're not just building endurance in your body, you're teaching your nervous system to stay calm under stress. The same discipline that lets you push through a workout transfers to how you handle deadlines, conflicts, or setbacks. Your brain doesn't distinguish between physical and emotional resistance. It only learns how to respond. The changes are measurable. Consistent training sharpens emotional regulation. It rewires your stress response so challenges feel like obstacles to overcome, not threats to escape. Your tolerance for discomfort rises. Your ability to stay focused under pressure improves. These aren't abstract benefits. They're the direct results of choosing struggle over comfort repeatedly. This is why physical training is the ultimate mental hack. Every session is a classroom where pain is the professor. The lessons aren't about reps or miles. They're about proving to yourself that you can endure more than you think, that you're stronger than your excuses. When life tests you outside the gym, when work gets overwhelming, when relationships get tough, when failure hits, you won't panic. You'll rely on the same resilience you built one workout at a time. Now imagine taking this mindset into everything you do. A hardened perspective that sees obstacles as opportunities to grow. A calm focus that stays steady when others crumble. That's the power of training beyond your limits. Not to punish your body, but to forge a mind that refuses to quit. The weight room, the track, the mat. They're all just simulations for the real battles you'll face. And every drop of sweat is preparation for the moments that matter. The next time you feel your lungs burn or your muscles shake, remember, this is where growth happens. Not in comfort, but in resistance. Not in retreat, but in advance. The pain isn't your enemy. It's the only teacher tough enough to turn you into the strongest version of yourself. One workout changes nothing. 100 workouts changes everything. This is the math of transformation. Discipline starts as something you do, then becomes who you are. The shift happens through repetition. You don't just perform disciplined acts, you become a disciplined person. Modern life offers endless escapes from discomfort. Social media, junk food, hitting snooze. Each easy choice weakens your ability to handle resistance. But when you train consistently, you reverse this pattern. Every session builds your capacity for challenge. Billy Alsbrook's warriors don't train when they feel motivated. They train because it's who they are. Motivation fades, identity sticks. When training becomes part of your self-concept, skipping isn't an option. Missing a workout would mean betraying yourself. Research shows it takes about 66 days of consistent action to cement a behavior into automaticity. The first weeks require effort, but over time, the struggle lessens. What felt difficult becomes second nature. You don't think about lacing up your shoes, you just do it. This is how habits build mental toughness. Each rep, each mile, each early morning is a vote for the person you're becoming. You're not just completing a workout, you're reinforcing a standard. Every time you push through discomfort, you strengthen the part of your mind that refuses to quit. Elite performers understand this. They use physical training to develop mental dominance. By repeating the process daily, they condition their minds to expect challenge and respond with focus. The gym becomes a classroom where they practice perseverance. The compound effect works quietly. You won't notice changes day to day, but over months, the accumulation of effort reshapes you. Your shoulders straighten, your voice carries more conviction. You handle stress with steadiness because you've trained yourself to stay calm under pressure. Physical consistency teaches your nervous system to regulate emotions. When life tests you, you don't panic. You've faced worse in training. This is why habits alone aren't enough. You need a deeper reason to sustain the effort. Training can't just be about aesthetics or numbers. It must connect to who you want to become. When you link physical discipline to personal growth, the work takes on meaning. You're not just lifting weights, you're building resilience. You're not just running, you're practicing endurance for life's challenges. The process isn't glamorous. Most days, progress feels invisible, but show up anyway. Make the choice again and again until it's no longer a choice. It's just what you do. That's when discipline becomes freedom. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop waiting for motivation. You act because action is part of your identity. One day, you'll look back and realize the person you became was forged in those quiet, consistent efforts. Not in the spotlight, but in the daily grind where champions are made. This is how physical training builds mental strength. Not through grand gestures, but through relentless repetition. Not through intensity alone, but through consistency over time. The work changes you in ways that echo far beyond the gym. It shapes how you approach problems, handle stress, and push through barriers. Every drop of sweat is an investment in who you're becoming. Someone who doesn't back down when things get hard. Someone who knows the value of showing up, day after day, no matter what. Champions don't look sideways. They look inward. Your workouts aren't about beating others. They're about confronting the gap between who you are and who you could be. Kobe Bryant didn't study game footage at 3 a.m. to outplay opponents. He did it to outplay his own limits. That's the difference between competing with others and competing with your potential. Most people quit at 40% of their capacity because their minds fail before their bodies do. But when you train consistently, you rewrite that script. You prove to yourself that your limits are illusions. Research shows regular physical discipline improves self-assessment accuracy by 31%. You stop lying to yourself about what you can handle. Your workout log becomes a mirror. It doesn't care about excuses. It shows cold, hard data on whether you're growing or pretending. Billy Alsbrooks calls this the inner standard, the uncompromising measure true champions use. Average athletes compare themselves to others. Legends compare themselves to their own untapped potential. When you approach training this way, every set becomes a test of honesty. Did you really push to failure? Or did you stop when it got uncomfortable? The weights don't lie. Your stamina doesn't lie. The clock doesn't lie. Kobe's obsession wasn't about trophies. It was about solving the puzzle of his own limitations. He studied his weaknesses like equations, breaking down his jump shot mechanics frame by frame. Training his offhand for hours, refining footwork most players ignored. This wasn't preparation. It was transformation. Physical discipline sharpens your self-awareness. You start seeing gaps in your life with the same clarity, where you cut corners at work, how you avoid tough conversations, why you settle for less than you deserve. The mental shift happens gradually. At first, you force discipline. Then it becomes second nature. Eventually, you develop what Kobe called the switch, the ability to flip into focused execution at will. Not just in sports, but in meetings, creative work, personal relationships. Research on Navy SEALs shows this isn't mystical. It's trained. When you consistently meet physical challenges, your brain learns to regulate emotions under stress. You stop reacting. You start responding. This is how self-trust is built, not through affirmations, but through accumulated proof. Every time you finish a workout you wanted to quit, you deposit confidence in your mental bank. Over time, these small victories compound. You stop wondering if you can handle hard things. You know you can. This certainty changes how you approach risks, conflicts, and opportunities outside the gym. True discipline begins when the motivation fades, when no one's watching, when it's just you and the barbell at 5 a.m. Champions aren't made on game day. They're made in these invisible hours. Billy Alsbrooks puts it bluntly, sweat becomes the friend of the 1%. The work is never about the work itself. It's about the person you become by doing it consistently. Now you understand the mechanism. Physical discipline trains mental clarity. Struggling with weights teaches you to struggle well in life. But knowledge without action is just noise. The real question isn't whether this works, it's whether you'll use it. Your next workout isn't an appointment with the gym. It's a meeting with your future self. Show up prepared. Your body is the anvil. Discipline the hammer. Your mind, the sword being forged. This is the alchemy of transformation. Tomorrow's 5 a.m. alarm isn't about exercise. It's about deciding who you'll become. Warriors aren't born from comfort. They're built through daily battles with resistance. When Allsbrook says, pain is no match for a real champion, he's revealing the truth. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort. The world needs more people willing to do hard things without guarantee of reward. More who train not for a body, but for resilience. The call isn't rhetorical. It's waiting for your answer. 1 rep, 1 mile, 1 choice at a time. If this inspired you, give it a like, subscribe for weekly wisdom, and share your thoughts below to grow the inner strength community.